Can you please state your name and what you do?
All right, my name is James Shepard, and I'm a police officer for the town of Grand Chute Police Department.
And then you said that you specialize in human trafficking.
I do a lot of human trafficking cases, yes.
Okay, so what is human trafficking?
Basically, I think at its core, human trafficking is modern day slavery.
Okay, and locally, how many cases are there a year?
That's tough to say. There's a lot. I know personally last year from August to January 1st, I did probably 20 human trafficking cases alone.
Okay. And how can human trafficking begin?
Oh, there's a lot of ways they could begin. Um, Something we see a lot is it's predominantly girls that run away from home that really don't have a very large support system. And they kind of get swept up into the first couple of people they meet. Sometimes, it's girls that are already working for a pimp. Sometimes it's the pimps. Um, Really, it's just somebody that doesn't have a lot of, resources, somebody that doesn't have a very strong support system. And they kind of go into the first group that they find, and they think that it's a normal thing, and they get swept up into it. It's really easy for somebody to get swept up into human trafficking, and that's quite unfortunate.
Is there like an increase of cases around the year?
Um,
Around like certain times of the year?
Around certain times of the years, I don't think so.
No.
It's pretty for us. I think we see it more in the summertime. I don't think that has really anything to do with there's more people being trafficked in the summer or not being trafficked in the summer. I think it's just because it's easier for us to do that during the summertime, because during the wintertime we're dealing with so many other things. Our traffic volume goes way up because of accidents. I don't think there's more than one time during the summer that it goes up.
Okay. What resources are given to victims to help them move on from previous, I guess, like them being trafficked, I guess?
I Unfortunately, in this area in Appleton, Outagamie County, northeast Wisconsin, there's really not a lot of resources. We have Harbor House, which is like a women's shelter. Like I said, unfortunately, there's really only one person that works there that really deals with human trafficking, and she's great and she does the best job that she can, but she's so understaffed. She doesn't have enough resources. Compared to bigger cities, bigger jurisdictions, bigger cities, they have programs and resources where there's all kinds of different people that can help out and that want to help out. And I'm not saying that people around here don't want to help out. There's just really, it comes down to funding and people that are available. In Outagamie County alone, I think really our only resource is Harbor House.
Okay. Are there certain laws that pertain to human trafficking?
There's a lot of laws. I guess specifically state statute 944.30 is our state statute for for prostitution. I couldn't give you the statute for human trafficking. It is a felony in the state of Wisconsin to benefit in any way from receive any kind of financial compensation from human trafficking. I guess the very dumbed down version of that is if a girl is out and she sees somebody and has sex with that person, or does any kind of sexual service for that person and receives any kind of monetary compensation. If anybody receives any kind of monetary compensation from that girl, it's considered a felony. So I think the laws on our side, the laws on the girl side on this one, it's really easy to protect the girl on this. Unfortunately, I see most of the time we really go after the girl, and that's not something that I necessarily care for. I feel like we over victimize the victim, because human trafficking obviously isn't something we want to go after the girls for, because they are being trafficked. Like I kind of stated earlier in this, they are modern day slaves. That's not we don't want to re-victimize them. It is so much easier though to go after the girl, because they're the ones that they're the ones out there on the front line. They're the ones on the
Mm-hmm.
streets, in the hotels, that come to the apartments, that come to the houses, that we're having, first line contact with. Really what we try to go after is more the Johns, or the quote unquote pimps or boyfriends or whatever they're going by, but they're the ones that are so much harder to get. It takes a lot more investigation to get the pimps than it does the girls. The girls, like I just said, because they come to you, you're going to them. They're the
Mm-hmm.
ones that frontline. They're the ones you first up see. The pimps or the boyfriends or whatever they're gonna call them nowadays. They're so much harder to get to. There's more investigation, but there is a lot of laws pertaining to human trafficking and prostitution and all of that. And that's something that I think the state of Wisconsin definitely has on our side. We're definitely, we have, Wisconsin behind us, and it's definitely a great thing for us.
Okay. How is law enforcement trained to handle human trafficking? Like, do you guys do certain protocols and stuff for it?
I would say definitely no. We're not equipped. We're not trained. We're definitely not given the resources to deal with human trafficking. I know specifically going through the police academy, we receive next to zero training. We don't get any information pertaining to human trafficking. My first experience with human trafficking wasn't until I'd already been working for a police department for a couple of months, and it was kind of just a crash course. And luckily for me, or I guess I don't know, maybe not luckily, but it's something that I definitely took a liking to, and something that I'm passionate about. But the average law enforcement officer, or anything like that, we really don't receive that much upfront training. It's definitely more specialized training, and it's something you have to really look out for. It's not something you're going to see somebody. It's not like in the movies. You're not going to see somebody walking down the street and you're like, oh, that's a prostitute, I'm going to pull up and pick them up. That's just not the way it is. It's definitely not like TV. It takes a lot of experience. It takes a lot of going out there and learning what's going on. And unfortunately, that's just not what we're getting in our police departments in the area, and I don't think that's what we're getting in our police departments, nationwide, as far as training. I really just don't think it takes a priority, which is something that I think is really sad.
Okay. Do you guys often do investigations on human trafficking?
Yes, there's a lot of investigations that we do. I know our department alone tries to do quote unquote prostitution stings or John stings every couple of months. The prostitution stings, we focus more on trying to get the girls, and that's not trying to get the girls into trouble. That's where we're literally trying to get them out of prostituting, or out of the life, if you will. Then we do John stings, where we have an officer that's pretending to be a prostitute, and she's answering phone calls, answering text messages, and we specifically go after the guys that are trying to pick up the girls. That's something we do quite often. As far as at a patrol level, we're every day. I know we have a couple of officers that go out of their way to try and message the girls, or pretend to be the girls and message the guys. It's definitely something we do, in excess. It's not like your ordinary traffic stop or your ordinary call you get, but there is people that are passionate about it, that do try to go out of the way to help and, do their part as far as these investigations do. They definitely take a lot more time and resources than the average call, though.
Is there a way the community can bring awareness or prevent human trafficking?
As far as the community goes, I think it's just getting it out there that this is a real issue. It's something that's still happening. It's not something that only happens in the big cities. When I first started with this police department, I remember I specifically asked our police chief, what is the biggest problem that we have in the town of Grand Chute? And he told me prostitution. That's something I didn't believe him on. I thought that he was kind of pulling my leg. And it didn't take very long, just a couple of months, and I realized that he was being serious, and prostitution, human trafficking is a real thing. It's something that I am very passionate about. It's something that I deal with quite extensively. From all the research, from all the books I've read, all the documentaries I've watched, there's more people now that are currently being I guess if you would, enslaved through human trafficking than any time, in the history of the world. And I guess it's just people aren't aware of that. They think that now that we're a modern society, we have all these modern amenities, that it's not an issue, but it is a very real issue, and it's something that I think we need more awareness for. We need more people out there advocating. Like I kind of said earlier, in Outagamie County alone, we only have Harbor House really that helps these girls out. In the bigger cities, there's definitely a lot more resources for the girls. And even I don't mean to say girls is just, it's only girls that are being trafficked. It is guys as well. It's not quite as predominant, but there are guys out there that are being trafficked. But we need more resources. We need, more awareness of what's going on. We need more people, standing up for these people, for these guys and girls that are being sold into slavery. One of the most frustrating things for me whenever I do a human trafficking or a prostitution case is saying, well, they could have chose not to have sex. They could have chose to walk away. It's really not a choice. It's there's so many different factors that go into what makes somebody prostitute or what makes somebody a trafficking victim. I think we just need more awareness. We need more resources out there. I'm not a safe